Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and good morning. Bit of a dull start today. Okay, so today's topic, we're looking at the much dreaded emergency stop. And what is an emergency stop? It's where you have to stop the vehicle as soon as you can under control. And it is a part of the test. 1 in every 5 candidates that go on the test are required to do an emergency stop. Now, the important thing about emergency stop is there's a certain drill that they follow. Once the emergency stop is conducted, when you move off again, there is a certain type of observation done, which is a bit different to all of the other things. And also, when you do stop, they want the car not to skid. A few years ago that was a problem, so we used to teach a different style of braking. As new vehicles now have ABS, anti-lock braking system, they tend not to skid. So I want to just talk through the emergency stop, when it's done and how it's done. As you know, on driving tests, they always pull you over in a safe and convenient place, and when they're about to conduct a maneuver or any specific exercise like this, they explain it to you quite well before you're going ahead with it. Now, as you learn on the real roads with other traffic or the road users, the emergency stop is done very seldomly, and it also is cancelled while you're driving if there's a vehicle behind and a vehicle in front, if it's not safe to carry out. What the examiner would do is ask you to pull over, and then he would say he would give you the exercise, which he would say, in this road we're about to conduct an emergency stop. I want you to drive off as normal, in normal speeds. And then they usually put the hand up like this and they say stop. Once they've said stop, that's when you've got to carry out the emergency stop. You've got to be able to stop the vehicle as soon as. However, before they do this, they usually check in the back. They check around, they make sure it's safe to carry out. And if it isn't, they cancel it. And they wouldn't randomly do it anywhere after that. They would pull you over again if they require it. So what is an emergency stop? Emergency stop is when you're driving the vehicle and, for example, a pedestrian runs out in front of you, something happens suddenly, and you would be required to stop the vehicle under control as soon as. The important part of it is it's done in the way where, you don't have to go extremely fast. First, second gear, 15-20 miles an hour is sufficient to carry out this exercise on a test. You would have to brake and then press the clutch. As you know, when you brake, if you didn't press the clutch, the car would stall. So you can do both pedals simultaneously, although we ask the pupils to do the brake first for a second, and then within that same second go for the clutch. So it would be brake and then clutch. Now, I've got my foot camera on today, so you'll be able to see how it's conducted. But just before we carry on, I'll quickly show you. If they said stop, it would be brake then clutch. It wouldn't be clutch and brake, because when you press the clutch down first, the vehicle runs off quicker, and whoever you're trying to save, pedestrian or anything, you most likely to hit them. So it would be brake and then clutch, or simultaneously. Okay. If the car does stall, it's not a main fault. It's as long as you've stopped the vehicle. Although it's a bit of a rough ride, the examiners don't like it. Now, once you've stopped the vehicle, before you drive off, the important part is when you're stopping the vehicle, both hands should be on the steering wheel. It should be brake and clutch once the command's given. And then once you've stopped the vehicle, if you have a manual handbrake, you would have to pull the handbrake up, not while the car's moving though. When you've completely stopped with the brake and clutch, you would have to pull the handbrake. However, this Golf model has auto hold and it has auto handbrake. So once the handbrake light is on, you wouldn't be required to pull the handbrake. Although you have a switch here, you could demonstrate on how you use this switch by pulling it up. Okay, now once you've done that, you would be driving off again. Now the drill for driving off would be you select first gear, so preparation. Then the observation for this emergency stop is done by doing both shoulder checks like your blind spots. But in this case it would be left shoulder check looking through the passenger door window and right shoulder check looking through the right passenger door window. That would be both of your shoulder checks done. Once you've done them, you can move off. If there's no vehicle behind or anybody that's overtaking you, or you think there's a vehicle approaching from a distance, you can even signal. So this is the full drill. If the shoulder checks are not carried out and you do move the car off before doing the checks, they will fail you on a test. So this is an important point of it. After you've conducted the emergency stop and you're about to drive off again, preparation, first gear, observation would be both shoulder checks, starting with the left because you're driving, you have the pavement towards closer to you on the left. However, some learners do get mixed up with this. As long as you do both shoulder checks and you drive off. What are you looking for in the shoulder checks? You're looking for any of the, for example, if there were kids in the road, pedestrians, small children, somebody's ran out, there's a football, for example, there could be more children or more pedestrians about, and you're making the safety check before you drive off again. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a small demonstration of how it should be conducted. I'm going to fasten my seatbelt. Okay. So the only difference here would be I wouldn't be able to say stop with the hand. However, I can say stop verbally because I'd want to keep both hands on the steering wheel. The examiner would be sat next to you and he or she would say stop. Okay, so I'm about to do the demonstration. You'll be able to see how the footwork works, and you'll also be able to see the drill after driving off, the observation, etc. Okay, so I'm selecting first gear, I'm making my normal checks in my mirrors, my blind spot, I'm signaling, and I'm moving off. Driving off in first gear and changing gear to second gear, and I'm driving along 15, 16, maybe 20 up to 20 miles an hour, and I'm about to conduct the emergency stop. Stop! And that was brake and clutch. Vehicles come to a stop as soon as within a second, and now I'm about to drive off. Now my handbrake is already on, however I can pull the button at the same time, and then it would be preparation, first gear, and then I'm about to carry out my shoulder checks. So left shoulder check, right shoulder check, also the interior mirror and the door mirror as an extra, just to make sure there's nothing coming, and I'm driving off. And I'm about to pull in on the left. Securing the vehicle. Okay, so that was a emergency stop. They don't want you to go super fast and do it very harshly. They just want you to drive as normal, assuming there's nothing wrong, and you would be doing your normal speed check, mirror checks as you're building the speed up. But once the command is given and you do carry out the emergency stop, the interior mirror or the mirrors are not necessary to check because you are in a sudden hazard and it's unexpected. So the main thing would be is to stop the vehicle as soon as you can, and then carry out the observation drill, preparation, observation drill, and then driving on. So it's a small topic, and 1 in every 5 students on a driving test would have to conduct this. Okay, I hope you liked that video. I hope it gave you some tips on the emergency stop. If you like that, hit the like, subscribe, and switch on the notifications for my next video. Thank you for watching.